Today, we're taking a look at Starbucks and why your morning latte habit has turned a coffee shop into a multi-billion-dollar shadow bank that doesn't have to follow a single banking regulation. You think you're buying caffeine? You're actually giving a 0% interest loan to a corporate giant that has more cash than most banks. Welcome to the Bank of Green Aprons. Here's the math. At the start of 2026, Starbucks reported a stored value card liability of nearly $1.8 billion. Those are gift cards that have already been purchased but haven't been redeemed. So in plain English, that's money that you've already paid to them for coffee you haven't drank yet. Now in the banking world, this is called deposits. But here's the twist. When you put money into a bank account like Chase or Wells Fargo, they have to pay you interest, even if it's just a pathetic 0.01%. They also have to pay stuff like FDIC insurance and follow strict capital requirements. With Starbucks, they pay you exactly 0%. In fact, they pay you in stars, a digital currency they control that they can devalue at any time. And they've just tiered it into green, gold, and reserve systems to make sure you keep chasing the next hit. You aren't a customer. You're an unpaid venture capitalist for them.
Okay, technically you do work for me.
Now, let's talk about the money that simply disappears. It's a concept called breakage. In simple terms, breakage is the money a company gets to keep when a customer pays for something like a gift card, but you never actually use all of it. Instead of providing a service or product, the company eventually counts that leftover money as profit because the chance of you coming back to claim the rest of that gift card has passed. So every year, roughly $200 million of Starbucks gift card balances are never redeemed. Maybe you lost the card, or maybe you only have $1.43 left and that just isn't enough for a cake pop, so you forget about it.
Forget about it!
For most businesses, an unfulfilled service is a liability for them, but for Starbucks, breakage is a pure, high-margin profit. They receive the cash, they never had to provide the milk or the beans, and they get to keep the change. This is so lucrative that the state of California actually had to step in this year. As of April 2026, they raised the mandatory cash-out threshold to $15. So if you have less than that, you can legally demand your cash back, but Starbucks won't tell you that at the register. They'd much rather you auto-reload another $25 to save that leftover $1.43. In March 2026, Starbucks updated their rewards program. They used words like flexible, but let's be real, they just built a more efficient maze to keep you away from the exit. By dangling a $2 discount for 60 stars, they've created a micro win trap. It feels like a treat in the moment, but its actual job is to trick your brain into spending your points early so you never save enough to get the high value stuff for free. The basic translation of this, they're not making it easier for you. They're making it harder for you to save enough points to actually hurt their bottom line. They also introduced Free Mod Mondays and Double Star Day tactics, which are straight out of Las Vegas. They aren't rewarding your loyalty, they are training your behavior. They need you to use the app because the app is the gateway to their interest-free loan. Okay, if you're a reserve member, earning 1.7 stars per dollar, congratulations, you've officially reached the highest level of being a voluntary creditor to a multinational conglomerate. Now, why isn't the government treating this like a bank? Because technically, Starbucks isn't transferring your money to others like banks do. You can only spend it at Starbucks. So this really makes it a closed loop system. Now, this loophole allows them to hold billions of dollars in liquid capital without the oversight of the Federal Reserve. While actual banks are sweating over things like interest rate and liquidity ratios, Starbucks is using your $20 reload to build a new store in Dubai. They are expanding their empire using your money, and you're paying them for the privilege. Let's be honest, Starbucks isn't a coffee shop anymore. It's a bank that happens to sell burnt beans. By 2026, the rewards members are basically funding the entire operation, providing nearly 60% of the revenue. They've essentially minted their own currency. At this point, stars are arguably more stable than the actual dollar and definitely more liquid. So the reality check is that we've reached the too big to fail stage of our caffeine addiction. They've successfully convinced you that your morning latte is a ritual rather than what it actually is, just a series of interest-free microloans that you give to a multi-billion-dollar corporation in exchange for the privilege of standing in line. They aren't selling you espresso, they're winning the long game of global payment dominance, while you're just trying to figure out if you have enough digital script for a croissant.
But wait, there's more!
Because having a couple $1 billion in interest-free loans from you isn't enough, Starbucks took that float and decided to become the world's most aggressive landlord. See, most businesses, they pay rent, but Starbucks, they prefer to own the dirt. By using your preloaded app money to buy prime real estate, They've built a portfolio that makes actual real estate investment trusts look like they're playing with monopoly money. So think about that the next time you're sitting in one of those industrial chic wooden chairs. You paid $7 for a drink that cost them 40 cents to make, and you're sitting in a building that you effectively financed. You aren't just a customer, you're the mortgage underwriter, and your reward, a digital sticker of a pumpkin. Amazing. Here's a breakdown for their labor. In 2026, the Bank of Starbucks realized they could use the app to essentially outsource the job of the cashier to none other than you. Every time you use the app to customize your quad shot oat milk, sugar-free, vanilla, extra hot, whatever disaster, you are doing the data entry for them. You are the unpaid intern at the Starbucks corporate office. They successfully gamified manual labor. They fired the person who used to take your order, replaced them with a screen that you own and you pay the data plan for, and then they had the audacity to put the suggested tip button at the checkout screen. It's genius, it's evil. I'm almost impressed if I weren't tired of living in this simulation with them. So the next time you auto reload your app to get those bonus stars, just remember you aren't just a coffee drinker. You're a high frequency lender in a system designed to profit from your convenience and your refusal to drink water at home like a normal person. Look, let's stop pretending Starbucks is just a place where you go to have your name misspelled on a cup. At this point, calling it a cafe is like calling Amazon a bookstore. It's adorable, but it's a lie and it needs to stop. Starbucks is a multi-billion-dollar financial institution that just happens to use burnt beans and overpriced real estate as a front. They've successfully convinced millions of people to load digital script into an app, effectively giving them a massive interest-free loan to play with while you get what? Gold star and a $2 discount? It's the ultimate success breakdown.
Yeah, success.
Stop thinking of it as a coffee run. You're just making a daily deposit at the Bank of Starbucks. And honestly, the interest rates are terrible. And if you finally realize that brand loyalty is just a polite term for hostage situation, then the hidden business ops is for you, because we're over the marketing fluff and the corporate gaslighting. We're here to take a sledgehammer to the systems that turn your daily habits into their record-breaking quarterly profits. Hit the subscribe button if you're tired of being treated like a line on a spreadsheet and want to start seeing the strings. We're tearing into the cold, calculated logistics and the it's only legal because they wrote the laws tactics that keep the ledger lords well-fed while you're just trying to survive the morning. Let's look at how the business world actually runs. And spoiler alert, it's not fueled by passion or community. It's built on your pocket change and a lifetime of interest-free microloans. Honestly, Ledger Lords is almost too polite for a company that's basically a hedge fund with a milk frother. Can't tell if I'm buying a latte or make a deposit into the shadow bank anymore.